There are how many pairs of cranial nerves? Important question. Around 12 pairs of cranial nerves. 12 pairs of cranial nerves. They arise from the brain. Next. There's a trick to remember the cranial nerves. How many pairs of cranial nerves? Come on, tell me how many pairs? Very important question. How many pairs of cranial nerves? Hello, my dear students. Come on. Speak up. Quick. Can you all hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
So how many pairs of cranial nerves is found in mammals? In humans?
12 pairs.
12 pairs, right? So the 12 pairs of cranial nerves, all the 12 pairs you need to remember. So we'll start from olfactory, optic, oculomotor, trochlear, trigeminal, abducens, facial, glossopharyngeal. Come on, write down. Vagus and spinal nerve, spinal accessory nerve. We missed something here. Here, this is the 8th one, auditory nerve, 9th, 10th, then 11th, and 12th is hypoglossal. So all these are cranial nerves. Is it point clear? Very, very important question. Which is the thinnest one? Trochlear. Which is the largest one? Trigeminal. Which is the smallest one? Abducens. Which is the longest one? Vagus. Very important slide. Very important slide. The easy way to remember one old Oxford theorist states, okay, states, we are not including states, but the sentence says one old Oxford theory states that Australian females are graceful and very shy. It is just a sentence. So O for olfactory, O for O1. This O is for optic. This O is for oculomotor. Then come trochlear. Then come trigeminal and abducens. Then it's facial. Then there's auditory. Then glossopharyngeal, vagus. Then spinal, accessory. Then there is very shy. Very shy. Hypoglossal. Hypoglossal. Have I written for hypoglossal? No. Okay, very shy. S is for hypo. S is for spinal, and H, capital H is for hypoglossal. Is it clear? All the capital letters represent one optic nerve. Quickly write down, learn it now itself. Come on, quick. Everything should be quick. We made this chapter very easy. Done? Everybody done? Revise. I want you to revise and remember. Very easy to remember. Olfactory, optic, oculomotor, trochlear, trigeminal, abducens, facial, auditory, glossopharyngeal, vagus, spinal, accessory, and hypoglossal. Very easy to remember. With the trick, it become more easier. You have to remember which is thinnest, smallest, largest, longest. I'll give you 1 minute to revise and learn those names. Done? Have you all learned? Let's move to the next. So the brain, the nerves coming from the cranial nerves are called, from the brain are called cranial nerves. Okay, this is how the cranial nerves arises from both the sides. So altogether there are 12 pairs. Next, cranial nerves are of sensory, first part, motor, and mixed. This is important to remember, which is sensory, which is motor, and which is mixed neuron. You know what are sensory neurons, you know what is motor neuron, you know what are the mixed neurons. What about the spinal nerve? What was the type of the spinal nerve? They were sensory, motor, or mixed? What was the type of spinal nerves? Come on, quick. The answer I need is about what type of nerves were spinal nerves. Can you all hear me? Sensory. Madhura says sensory. Sensory and motor. Sensory and motor. What is the term used, Yash? For sensory and motor, what is the term that need to be? What type of nerves comes out from the spinal nerve? Mixed, Sanika. Very good. It's a mixed nerve. Are you getting the point? They are the mixed nerve. If a question is there, they'll ask you whether sensory, motor. The previous slide. So it is a mixed nerve. Is this point clear? Yeah. Sensory
the previous slide.
Yeah, later. Sensory nerves are, which are the sensory nerve? 1, 2, 1, 2, and 8. Easy way to remember is 1 to 8. Remember 1 to 8. 1, 2, 8. 1, 2, 8 is a sensory. Then comes motor. Then there is a mixed nerve. Mixed nerve, remember, has 5, 9, 7, 5. After 5, there is one gap. 6 is not there. 8 is not there. Then 9, 10. So you need to remember which are sensory and mixed. Then rest all, you know, they come under the motor. Please write down important slide again. Did you all understood about the cranial nerve? Baba, cranial number 1. Cranial nerve 1 is olfactory. Cranial number 2 is optic. Cranial number 8 is which one? Facial, right? Did you got the point? These are the Roman numbers or the numbers for the cranial nerves. The order what I have told. One old Oxford theory.
Can you show the previous slide?
That's Australian females are graceful and very shy. So it's an order. Olfactory is 1, optic is 2, oculomotor is 3, trochlear is 3rd, trigeminal is 4th, abducens is 5th, facial is 6th, then auditory, then glossal. 8th one is 10th one is vagus nerve. Then there's a spinal accessory which is 11th one, and hypoglossal which is a 12th nerve. So 1 to 8 means 1 is olfactory, 2 is optic, and 8 is facial. This all 3 comes under sensory. Then mixed, then motor. This is how you have to divide. Is this point clear, Madhura? Yes. Any other doubts to anybody there? Okay, let's move to the next slide. We'll write it down somewhere. Before this, somebody, they'll help you out. I did it with the, I'm talking about the cranial nerves. Okay. So this is the sensory nerve, motor nerve, and mixed nerve. Now we'll be talking about, we need to write down the chart. Let us write down the chart. Write down here itself. Just got chart. Yeah. One. Yeah, see, Prabhadesa is helping you out. You can just take the screenshot and send it to her. First Roman letter, olfactory, lobe. This is the origin, okay? Origin. Then there is a nature. Then comes function. Then this is the nerves. So first is olfactory lobe. The nature. What is the first optic nerve? It's a sensory or mixed or motor. The first optic nerve is sensory. Very nice. So it is sensory. The second one, is optic lobe. Origin is optic lobe. Again, second one is what type? Sensory. Then optic is related to sight, to a vision, right? Vision. Third one, midbrain. Midbrain, third is which nerve? Come on, tell me. The origin is midbrain. Movement of eyeball. Origin is which type? Yeah, third one is oculomotor. The sensory is, it's a motor nerve. Origin of the oculomotor is from the midbrain. The fourth cranial nerve, which is the fourth cranial nerve, is again a midbrain. Motor. Rotation of eyeball. Next. Fifth one, which is the fifth one? Trigeminal, right? Which is the origin? Pons. Motor. Then it's a trigeminal is the longest, okay? And it is having a three, like a tri means three. It's also called as dentist nerve. Please write down. It is also called as dentist nerve. Dentist nerve. Trigeminal is also called as dentist nerve, which is arising from the pons. What type of does it contain? Does it contain fifth nerve is a mixed nerve or motor nerve? Fifth one is a mixed nerve or a motor nerve. Very nice. It is mixed. Sensation from conjunctiva, eyelids, upper and lower jaw movement. Then comes sixth one, which is the sixth nerve? coming from the pons, motor, control lateral eyeball movement. Control eyeball movement. And then 7th. Are you done there with this? Seventh one. Pons, mixed, facial expression, help in salivation, and taste sensation. Taste sensation. All this is under on 7th cranial nerve, that is abducens. Done? Can I move to the next slide? Okay, next. Insert new slide. Okay, here. Here comes now 8th one. 8th, which is auditory, arising with from pons. Sensory. 1 to 8 is sensory. Remember, easy trick to remember. See, I'm making as easiest as I can. If you can make it more easy for you, it's well and good. But see that you remember them. Whichever the trick you see, but you need to remember. Which is sensory, which is motor. Okay. Next. 9th, medulla oblongata, mixed, salivation, and taste.
Excuse me, ma'am. What have you written above?
8th, pons, sensory, hearing, and balancing. Movement of pharynx, pharynx muscles. Then there is 10th, which is coming from medulla oblongata, mixed. It innervates larynx, pharynx, visceral sensation and movement. Most of the things, okay, all the visceral organ, visceral sensation and movements. Function, speech, swallowing. I mean, it's like you can write down the visceral sensation and movements. All the things that are happening viscerally. Okay, all the organs connected with stomach, intestine, lungs, heart. So vagus nerve is a big nerve that take care of many things. Then comes spinal accessory, that is medulla oblongata.
Ma'am,
Hmm.
And what have you written for the 10th one? Its function.
Wait a minute. Visceral sense. It's a function. It's innervate, larynx, pharynx, visceral sensation, and movement. Viscera means all the organs that are inside the body cavity. 10th, 11th. Medulla oblongata. Motor. 10th is a motor nerve. Innervates the muscles of neck. Innervates muscles of neck and shoulders. Then comes the last one, that is 12th. Medulla oblongata, motor, movement of tongue muscle. These all are the functions of cranial nerves. Okay.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Hmm?
Ma'am, will we have to join tomorrow's coaching class? You had told yesterday.
No. Tomorrow I'll cancel because I got the class today, right? Do not join. I was missing the class today, so I had called. But anyway, I got the class. So you can use that time to study. Done? Everybody done? Can we move to the next? Clear? Okay, please go through the. Okay. So please go through the cranial nerves and any doubts there? Any doubts? The next is reflex action. What do you understand by reflex action? First, we'll write down and then we'll study. Marshall Hall first observed the reflex action.
Ma'am, could you
The entire, can you please text me? The entire process of response to a penis. Can everybody see the screen? Scroll up. I'm starting with the reflex action. What do you want to see, Sanika?
Ma'am, the previous part.
Yeah. Write down. Any doubts to anybody about the cranial nerves? No response. Are you all sleeping there? Hello. Reflex actions are reflex action are spontaneous, automatic, involuntary, mechanical response. Oh, what happened? Mechanical, involuntary mechanical responses produced by stimulation, specific receptor. Reflex actions are involuntary actions. Reflex actions are involuntary. It is not under our control. It just happened. Just draw the diagram. First we'll write and then I'll explain.
Ma'am,
Hmm?
can you please scroll up a bit?
Okay. Done? Please write down. Done? The reflex pathway comprises of sensory organ that carries an efferent neuron. From efferent neuron, it is transferred to interneuron. From interneuron, it goes to effector neuron, which are motor neuron, motor nerve fibers, and then goes to effector organs. So this is how the reflection arcs. When you, for example, who observed the first reflection action is a marshal. Marshal, okay. And then the entire process of response was like it's an involuntary act. It produces involuntary. It's a spontaneous. Its reflection action are involuntary and it comprises of, as I said, 5 components. Afferent fibers that receive a signal from sensory organ. After they receive, they transmit the impulses via the dorsal route into the CNS. The efferent neuron then carries the signals to CNS to effector organ. So basically from efferent fibers, it goes to, sometimes it goes directly to efferent neuron or sometimes there are interneurons also which is present. The reflex arc is a pathway that shows the completion of reflex action. Clear? Now, next, types of reflex action. Type of reflex action. Types of reflex action. First one, on the basis of previous experience. In this, there are two types. The first type is conditioned reflex. Or acquired. Or trained. This conditioned reflex requires previous experience. It requires previous experience. For example, swimming, examples are important, cycling, dancing, etc. Initially, these actions are voluntary. Initially, these actions are voluntary. When you start initially swimming, you learn the things, right? Or when you start cycling, initially you'll see for the pedals, you see how to pedal the cycle and then you start. But later, once you experience, you do not have to somebody to tell you how to pedal or how to go about. You just sit on the cycle and start pedaling, and you don't even realize you're pedaling and you're going, because it's already trained. You know how to go it. For example, typing. Initially, when you're working with the computer, it will take time to learn how to use keyboard. But after a while, you are so used to that keyboard that you do not require any you don't realize, you just keep on typing it. There's no requirement to check for which letter you are typing for. This is called a trained. This all comes under conditional reflex. Are you understanding? Riding, cycling, or parking the vehicle. For example, there is a slot. First day when you're parking into the slot, or first day or few days, you will take the measurement, where to take a turn and how to park and everything. But if you keep parking on the same slot every day, in no time you just go and park without checking for, which moment. It become very easier later. So this all examples comes under conditioned reflex. Is it clear? Are you all getting the point? These all are the learned ones. Any difficulties here? Then comes unconditional reflex. here you do not need to be any kind of training. Okay, there's no need for the previous experience. Can you tell me some example for unconditional? These actions do not require previous experience. Example,
Solar pivot.
can you tell me the examples for unconditional where you do not, they're the immediate actions which do not, breathing, very nice. Breathing, sneezing, coughing, yawning. Nobody has taught this. Like, eating, we are learnt how to eat. But sneezing, coughing, yawning, has anybody taught you? Like, I'm not asking about the behavior of sneezing or yawning, but it automatically comes out, right? So this all comes under unconditional reflex. Is it clear? Any doubts? Sexual behavior for opposite sex partner. All this comes under unconditional reflex. And for conditional reflex, we can write down one more example. Yvonne, it is, yeah. Let me write down. Yvonne, Pavlon, experiment on dog is also a conditional. What did he did? He trained a dog to give a food at a particular time. At the bell of 1 o'clock, he used to get the food for. Then the dog used to understand, like 1 o'clock, there is a food that is waiting for me. Whenever there's a bell, he'll give the bell and give the food. Give the bell and give the food. So this way, he keep training the dog. The dog had, like if there's like, if the bell was given, if the dog is prepared to eat the food, it's a salivation. In response to that, there is a salivation in the dog before he sees the food, thinking about the food, that is a food time. Same thing he did. What did he did? He trained the dog, and the later he gave the bell. By the time he got the food, the dog is released the saliva. It means it is already trained. That is, salivation is also a part of conditioned reflex. For example, salivation on seeing or smelling the good food. These all are the conditioned reflex. So did you understood what is conditional reflex and unconditional reflex? This is on the basis of previous experience. There's a reflex action on the basis of synapse. Any difficulties here? Come on, tell me, quick. So today's paper is cancelled. So again, you have got so much of time. That's all. And one more thing, ASIP. School, okay? School of Excellence. Listen to me. I have included for the portion, the paper is for 80 marks. Important assignment announcement. But the paper is for 80 marks. Last class I had mentioned you about digestion and absorption, breathing and body circulation, right? Along with that, I have included chordate part, only chordate, okay? Fishes, amphibians, reptiles, birds and mammals, only chordates, and also excretory system. Clear?
Ma'am, so the whole portion is the 3 chapters and excretory and chordates.
The 3 chapters, including this 2, because the test is for the exam is for 80 marks. So I have to include these 2 chapters, chordates and excretory, along with the other 3 which I have told you. Is this point clear to all? The exams will be starting from January 15th.
Ma'am, it will be for 40 marks, right?
80 marks, 80 marks. My portion will be for 40 marks. Asma ma'am's will be 40 marks. So it is total 80 marks. Is it clear?
Ma'am, this is for Goa board only, right?
Yes, only for the students of excellence. Done? Okay. Please write down the portion. This is only for the students of Stella School. So, on the basis of synapse, the reflex action, the first one is monosynaptic. Monosynaptic. So, what is monosynaptic? In this type of reflex arc, there is a direct synapse relation found between sensory and motor neuron. Thus, nerve impulse travel through. See, what does it says? There is sensory which is coming. Look into the diagram. Monosynaptic means from the sensory. Efferent is sensory, right? Sensory. Efferent is motor. From the sensory fibers, the impulse that is coming from the sensory organ is directly transferring to the motor. So, is there any role of the interneuron there in the monosynaptic? Is there any role of interneuron in monosynaptic? No, right? There's no interneuron because the impulse are transferring from sensory fibers to motor fibers. There's no role of interneuron. So how many synapses are there? How many synapses between the afferent information to the efferent information? Synapse, you know. Do you know what is synapse? So the impulse travels to how many synapses? Who can answer this? The sense single, very nice. Oh, by only one synapse. Are you getting the point? There is a sensory fiber which is coming and there is a motor. So it is moving from sensory to motor directly. There is no role of any interneuron here. This is an interneuron. So if it is direct, there is the information here. The synapse is only single. Are you getting the point? Yes or no? Is it only Yash or everybody have understood?
Ma'am, could you repeat?
Why? It's easy. Your sensory nerve fibers which is carrying the impulse. From sensory, it's moving to motor, right? The information from sensory, here if you see in this type of reflex, there's a direct synapse relation found between sensory and neuron. The information is going from sensory to the neuron. Then how many synapses is forming here? This is presynaptic, this is postsynaptic, this is synaptic cleft. So how many synapses is forming between sensory and motor? Because it is direct transfer. There is no intermediate, that is interneuron is not there. Sanika, did you getting the point?
Ma'am, it wasn't me.
Sanjana or Padma? Whew. Madhura. Did you got the point, Madhura? Is it clear? Okay. Any difficulties there? So through only one. So this type of, for example is very, very important. Many times this question. Knee jerk reflex. What do you understand by knee jerk reflex? Whenever, nobody will hit you, but still, when you take a hammer and just hit it on the knee, you move your legs spontaneously. Because the reason is because of the monosynaptic reflex happening there. You just hit on your knee slowly, the lower leg will automatically move upward. That is called reflex action. If this is a knee, okay, and if this is a hammer, yeah. For example, doctors use those hammers, right? That stool. So those stools, if you hit it here, what happened? The leg will automatically move upward. You know, ma'am? Ma'am? So it moves upward. This reflection is due to the monosynaptic reflex. Getting the point, yes or no? Ma'am, Veena? Done? Any doubts? Did you all got the point? Ma'am, call Fina, ma'am. Call her. Clear? Any doubts? Any doubts? Okay, please go through it. I'll teach you later. Any doubts? Next, this is the monosynaptic. Okay. Next, we'll be studying about the disynaptic. Or it is also called as polysynaptic. It's not polysynaptic. Sorry. Polysynaptic is where there is also called as a complex arc. The second one we'll be studying is polysynaptic or complex. In this, interneurons are involved. Yeah, ma'am, did you happen to put that information in the teams about the syllabus?
Syllabus will be psychology is pending.
It's pending, and the date is on 15th, right? Okay. Why? Okay, why didn't he say? मैम को कॉल किया था मेरे मैम को
वो तो केरला में है मैं उसको कॉल किया था
we cannot wait for
मैंने
one.
बोला कि साइकोलॉजी आया नहीं है सो शी वाज ट्राइंग टू बी इन कांटेक्ट विद साइकोलॉजी मैम उनका फोन नहीं लग रहा है कुछ तो हो गया है वैसे और उन्होंने बोला है कि जैसे है वैसे शेयर कर लो अभी टीम्स पे मैं टीम्स पे पोस्ट कर रही हूँ उसके बाद जो सर बताएंगे हम कर लेंगे मतलब बिना साइकोलॉजी वी कैन पुट अप द सिलेबस और बाद में क्लास में बता सकती है मैम
Okay, fine. Yeah.
क्योंकि डेट तो मेंशन होगा साइकोलॉजी का
Okay, fine. So put it today. Okay.
I'll put it today.
I'll come back later.
Yeah.
So you, the test is on 15th. The portion I have told you, I have asked them to put the other syllabus portions also today. Today you will get the file on Teams. So please check the Teams for the rest portion for the other subjects. Is it clear? And see that you all prepare well. Need a good mark, so see that you all prepare well. Is it clear? And here polysynaptic is all the reflexes. Other reflexes comes under polysynaptic. For example, if you touch something hot, you just immediately remove your hand. That is a polysynaptic reflection. Are you done? Any difficulties there? The next we are talking about the autonomic nervous system. I'll give you few minutes to revise. Is everything clear to each and everybody there? Everything clear to each and everybody there? Okay. The next thing is autonomic nervous system, which is a visceral nervous system. Autonomic nervous system or the visceral nervous system consists of motor fibers to involuntary muscles. They are giving muscle fibers to the involuntary muscles or the organs. Autonomic nervous system are of two types. One is sympathetic, other is parasympathetic. They both work antagonistic to each other. Means what? Antagonistic means opposite. They both work opposite to each other. Please write down a very important parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system we will be discussing now, which is a very important part of human brain system, nervous system. They both sympathetic and parasympathetic works antagonistic. Clear? Next, sympathetic nervous system. When does the sympathetic nervous system work? It works in stress condition. Very important.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Can you go back to the previous slide?
I asked you, are you all done? You people do not respond. Then I'll assume this is the last time I'm telling you. When I ask you, are you all done? Say yes or no. If you do not respond, I'm going to move to the next slide and not come back to the previous slide. Done? Okay, fine. Yeah. So, sympathetic nervous system. Remember, whenever you are in stress condition, That time sympathetic nervous system works. The main neurotransmitter in the sympathetic nervous system is adrenaline, a very important question. When is this sympathetic nervous system work is also an important question. It works when there is a lot of stress, and the neurotransmitter here is adrenaline. It shows thoracolumbar outflow. What do you understand by thoracolumbar outflow? These nerves are coming from thorax and lumbar region. Are you getting the point? The outflow is from the thorax and the lumbar region. We'll study this. You know, thoracic, cervical, thorax, and lumbar vertebrae. So the sympathetic nervous system coming out from thoracolumbar region. Very important question. Thoracolumbar flow. Yes, from thoracolumbar flow. So altogether, there are 21 sympathetic ganglions. 21 sympathetic ganglion. It consists of 21 ganglion. That is 3 from cervix or cervical, cervical, 12 from thoracic, 5 from lumbar, and sacral 1. But mostly it's coming from thorax and lumbar. That's the reason it is said as thoracolumbar flow. Are you understanding why it is called thoracolumbar flow? Because 21, altogether 21 ganglion. So these all are coming from 3 from cervical, 12 and from thorax, and 5 from lumbar and 1 from sacral. Since the number of thorax and the lumbar is more, it is said to be thoracolumbar outflow, a very important question. Sympathetic nervous system follows what kind of outflow? Very important question. Next, if you see in the diagram, look into the diagram. Basically, sympathetic. We are looking for the sympathetic. Okay. Here you have ganglionic nerve fiber. This is. I'll draw somewhere. Just okay, wait a minute. Let me draw. Okay. And yeah, if you see, it's here. If you see, this is preganglionic. Can you see? This is a preganglion. Pre means before the ganglia. These are the red ones are the ganglia. These knobs are ganglia. You can see here. So whatever the nerves before, it's called preganglionic fibers, nerve fibers. After one are called postganglionic fibers. For example, if you have ganglia here, okay, this is a ganglia. The nerve before is called preganglionic. The nerve after is called postganglionic. Getting the point? So how many ganglions are there altogether? 21. 3 from cervical, 12 from thorax, 5 from lumbar, and 1 from sacral. All this form the sympathetic ganglionic or sympathetic nervous system. Is this point clear? So tell me, in sympathetic, preganglion is long or short? In sympathetic, preganglion is long or short? Short. Very good. Very nice. And this ganglionic trunk, or the most ganglionic trunk, this is called ganglionic trunk, is near to the spinal cord. This is spinal cord, right? This is a trunk which is near, the ganglionic trunk is near to the spinal cord. Then the postganglionic will go to the different organs and then it gets innervates there. If you see the postganglionic, they go out very far and they get innervate into the respective organs. Is this point clear to all? Next. Next, we'll study about the parasympathetic flow. Parasympathetic flow, we'll come back to this diagram again. Parasympathetic nervous system, this works, as I said, it is in opposite. So there it was stress, here it is rest or normal condition. The neurotransmitter is acetylcholine, very important. You should remember both the neurotransmitter and the craniosacral outflow. The flow is craniosacral outflow from cranium and from the sacral region. If you look, why it is said, because this is the cranium, brain region, and this is the sacral region. So the nerves are coming from the sacral and from the brain. So the outflow is craniosacral outflow. Understood? Any doubt? You should remember which flow is sympathetic and which flow is parasympathetic. Any doubts? Next. Okay. Here, if you see the nerves, the presynaptic. Okay. This is the
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah.
The screen is frozen.
Is it frozen to all? I'm showing you the diagram of.
No, ma'am.
Okay, please relog in and come back.
No, ma'am.
So craniosacral is what? If there is a ganglia, okay, the presynaptic, pre means before, right? Which is coming. For example, this one, the presynaptic is a very long. Either it form ganglia or the presynaptic get directly innervate into the organ. The postsynaptic is very short. The presynaptic is very long. Either it form the ganglia near the organ or directly innervates into the organ. If you see the difference, you can see here there is a ganglionic trunk. Here there is no ganglionic trunk because the nerves that are arising will directly get innervate into the respective organ. That's the difference between a parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system. I'll give you 1 minute, just revise and do let me know if there is any doubt. I said, yes, listen. In the synaptic, the presynaptic is small, short, and postganglionic is long, right? Post fiber is long, whereas nerve fiber is small. But in parasympathetic, what will happen is the presynaptic neuron is longer. It's go directly and innervates into the organ or forms ganglia near to the organ. Here, if you see it, they have formed ganglia. If you see this, pre is longer. What happened to the post? Post becomes shorter. Or in some case, there is no post. Directly the pre goes and innervates into respective organ. In this case. Getting the point? Yes or no? If you want, I can explain you again. Just go through it and do let me know quickly. Shifa, any doubts?
Ma'am, can
Zara,
you go back to
any
the
doubts?
parasympathetic nervous system slide?
Sorry?
Ma'am, can you go
Ma'am,
back
please
to
show the
the
previous
nervous
slide.
system?
Okay, just a minute. Oh God, wait. Is everything clear to all? Is everything clear? Can you see the parasympathetic nervous system there? No, we have a very small part which is left over. I'll take this in the next class. So, but I want you all to revise this and get back to me in the next class. When is the next class? I think on 2nd Jan. Yeah. Okay, done everyone? Okay then, yeah. 2nd Jan, yeah. I hope there are no doubts. If you have doubts, get back to me. And on 2nd Jan, I will see that we'll complete this chapter and start with skeletal system. Okay, done everyone? Yeah. Can we wind up the class for today? Can we wind up the class? Okay, fine then. See you all in the next class.